Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And you know what? I couldn't leave you guys without a night talk video where we get extremely wasted and just kind of ramble about things. But tonight, I kind of want to dive into something I feel might be a little bit educational for everyone that is in this hobby. And that is why Nostalgia Bong Hits works alone. And the two rules of the card world are to work alone, one. And really, I should say the number one thing is to never start a card shop. The number two thing is to work alone. And I want to talk about why working alone is so important. If you ever want to break free of the slavery system, working alone is extremely important. I couldn't stress enough how important it is. When one man is left to his own, to think on his own, and to make his own moves, you can accomplish incredible things. And I really want to dive deeper into what I'm saying here. I see card shops that team up with other partners and they get destroyed every single time almost because that money and product get mixed and it just becomes a giant clusterfuck and a mess, and there's cracks in the foundation of the team, and it just genuinely doesn't work good. Now, I see people do it at card shows where they team up a little bit, and if you have a small collection, that's fine. Teaming up with your friend to sell off some 151 booster bundles or something is not a big deal. It's not going to be the end of the world. But when you're talking about dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's just, you have to work on your own at that level. It's just how it is. It's how it always has been. Every successful person I've ever met, for the most part, has done it by their own. Like one of my dad's friends, they were in a steel business, and they pretty much ran things on their own all the time, running their empire. If you get to the point of running an empire of money, you should definitely work alone. And that is why Nostalgia Bong Hits has always worked alone, and why I don't like working with other people. I never have, never will. And most team up, whenever I've teamed up with friends and stuff, it just genuinely doesn't work out as good. Now, I still have friends to hang out with, and we discuss the markets and everything like that. I mean, that's fine. But you don't mix your money and where you eat with your friends, because it can definitely lead to destruction. The next thing I want to dive into is a lot of people start mom and pop card shops, or like a little card table with husband and wife. That generally doesn't work out very well because your wife wants you to pretty much just sell everything, and then you have no skin in the game, invested in houses or Pokemon or Bitcoin or whatever. Your wife's going to want you to just turn it all into cash, and not wait for the proper gains to come in. So that is rule number one. You have to operate alone if you ever want to succeed. And another thing that's a benefit of that is you're only paying for your own way and yourself. You don't have to pay for anyone else. You don't have to pay anyone's fucking bills. You are strictly able to buy as much product as you can and hold on to it as long as you possibly can without having any stressors to where you're like, oh, well, I have to pay for this. Let's sell off this evolving ATB. Let's sell off this evolving ATB. We got to pay for this. My wife needs fucking new clothes. We're going to sell this evolving ATB. And that gets me to my next point. And rule number 3, buying shit that you don't need. This is probably just as important as not opening a card shop. A card shop is something you don't need. Expensive cars, expensive watches. Like watches have become a big thing nowadays, of all things. To waste $20,000 just to be able to tell time, or sometimes millions of dollars for these watches to be able to tell time, is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. No one cares. People with fucking that are losers have to get watches to show off. It is lame. Watches are fucking gay. They will waste your money when it could be properly invested to grow you more money. Watches genuinely don't go up as fast as other investments like crypto and Pokemon. And you have to avoid that trap of trying to look rich and dress rich and, have the nicest house on the block. I mean, having the nicest house on the block is nice. But other than that, it's a giant waste of time. And even having the nicest car, as much as, I love my sports car, and I, one of my biggest mistakes was wasting money on a sports car instead of just buckling down and investing like I should have. It's cost me millions of dollars. Just that one simple mistake of buying something that you really don't fucking need. And, like starting out especially, life is not fun in the beginning. You may have to work a lot more. You are not going to be able to buy everything you want. And that's just how it is, and you shouldn't be wasting money at like expensive places and just doing all that stuff. That is not what having money is about. And, you know, and also keeping a low profile that you kind of look poor all the time, that most people can't really even tell just by looking at you. Like, they think you're some bum, and in reality, you have more money than most people. So, you want to stick by that philosophy of working by yourself, never open a card shop, never flaunt your wealth, and never buy things to impress people. Who cares what people think? That's another thing, is you have to not give a fuck what people think, and you have to focus on your bottom line and keeping your sealed product and your other investments safe, so you're not like selling them to like keep your expensive lifestyle going. Until you get money, then you can kind of do that, like you can splurge a little bit here and there, but really you should be buckled down. And even if right now, let's say you don't have any money, you should be, as much as I hate to say it, working, grinding, so you're not taking out loans, you're staying away from loans, and you're getting money to invest, and you're invested. Because if you don't have the money to invest, like right now, in the past 3 years, if you didn't have the money to invest, you missed out on some of the greatest gains and the easiest money you'll ever see, probably ever. Just because, like, of the time period we were at, that if you bought anything Pokemon related, you're just tremendously up because it was at MSRP and now it's not. So, that's another important thing. But if I was not working alone and I had a girlfriend involved in it, all of my stuff would probably be sold to keep that lifestyle going. So, you want to stay single and, deal with a couple females here and there on the side. Don't get in relationships, because relationships are what will inevitably drain your income and take you down the rabbit hole of failure. So, if you stick by these key principles, invest every fucking penny you can, live like you're fucking broke as shit, and continue to work and grind and grind and grind. As shitty as it is, and as shitty as it sounds, that is the only way to make it in today's world, and even then you still might not make it. And be very, very careful where you place your money. Those are my main lessons that I wanted to talk about tonight. But working alone is very important. And I know it sounds fun. Oh, I want to start a business with my friend, or, and that does sound like fun, but it's not what succeeds. And your friend can become your enemy any day after you guys start. So those are my big lessons I really want to break down for everyone on how to stay on the successful path of growing, like getting a big collection, letting it grow in value, and letting it slowly pay your bills, instead of having to just constantly keep busting your ass and be in that same cycle. So I hope everyone has learned something from this, that, the rules are, like, let's just refresh on what I was going to say. Now, rule number 1, no card shop. Rule number 2, stay the lone wolf route. Even though it's boring, stay the lone wolf route. And stay away from people that genuinely drain money. Stay away from expensive places. Stay away from buying shit you don't fucking need, because that will cost you. And also, if you have expensive things laying around, like a car you don't use, or a dirt bike you don't use, or any of the stupid shit that people buy, sell it and invest it. Don't leave your money laying in a truck you don't use, or, jewelry that you don't use. Anything that you really don't fucking need, sell it for money and invest said money. and pretty much stay buying and selling things, even running, eBay businesses, everything like that. You can do all of that shit to help get your funds up. Working, eBay, selling cards, and keeping on that same grind and keeping out of trouble, keeping away from spending all your money on dumb shit. And you will genuinely do fairly well. And it'll be really tough until you hit your first 100K. But once you hit your first 100K, then it gets a good bit easier to grow it into more money. So I just want to break that down for everyone of why I have always operated alone and why I will continue to always operate alone, because of those reasons that, friends can turn into enemies, girlfriends can turn into pains in the asses, and you have to be a lone wolf in this or you're just going to get destroyed. It's just very tough to do it any other way. Because if you're buying your girlfriend all this shit, you're not going to have the money to invest or to do anything. And, even if you don't have the money to invest and you have a girlfriend, you can at least right now take out a massive loan and just throw it all into Pokemon if you wanted to, if you're a lone wolf. If you have a partner, you can't really do that because you're worried about both of you actually living and eating, for the day. So you want to stay away from relationships, card shops, businesses. They will just all wreck your finances. That you want to stay a lone wolf and be able to buy as much sealed product as you can and sit on it for as long as you possibly humanly can and just wait and let your money grow and be patient. It takes time, especially with the Sword and Shield era. I mean, it's going to take some time for Chilling Reign to go to 1,000 a box. It's going to take time for, Evolving Skies to hit $3 or $4 grand. It's just, that is how it is. And it's going to, seem like it's pointless, but you just have to set it and forget it, check on it, and enjoy your collection, admire it, it's always fun, but you have to operate by yourself. I've tried to work with operations with friends before, and it doesn't work out how you think it's going to work out, and you will learn that, but you're better off to just take my word for it than find out for yourself. And, it's fine to have friends. That's not a bad thing. I mean, knowing people, but don't let your business and friendship get mixed together, or it will probably be a disaster. There are a lot of card shops that go down that way by getting partners, and yeah, it just doesn't work out good for either one of them. And someone usually ends up getting either robbed or ripped off. So you want to stick to that theory of what I'm providing you right now, of why I've always worked alone and why I've always been a lone wolf of doing my own thing and not really tying up anyone else in it. I've had women hold me back along the way a lot to getting to where I'm at today. A lot of different relationships have held back what my potential should be, and it has cost me millions of dollars, literally millions of dollars, just being in relationships with women. So you really want to dodge that at all costs if you really want to be anywhere in life success-wise, And I know a business owner, and he had a steel company, one of my dad's friends. He was single his entire life, but he was a millionaire. There's just trade-offs that you have to have, that if you want to be a millionaire, you're probably going to have to be single, especially when you're starting out, and you're going to have to probably work shitty jobs you don't like. You're going to have to overstress yourself and do things that you don't enjoy, and you're going to hate life a lot, especially grinding up to that first 100K, because it's very tough, especially when you have 50 bills working against you constantly. So, but like I said, if you're not invested at all, then, your money can't work for you at all. So you're just in that endless cycle of working, and getting almost zero to no results. So that's why I say you're better off, staying by yourself, running your own empire, and working on growing your empire daily. and eventually you will succeed. And that's just the point of this video. I felt like maybe it would help some people that are, trying to grow a business, trying to grow their own thing, and, being willing to adapt, being willing to pay a certain price for something you feel is like a fair deal, and hold on to it for the long term and wait for your real financial gains. Don't be afraid to wait, throw your entire money up for like 3 to 5 years. I mean, that's not a far out thing to do. Like, even if you're investing in Pokemon, people tie their money up in stocks for like 10 years sometimes. I mean, one of my friends have Disney stock. They've tied it up in that shit for like 10 years and they hardly made anything. When if you did put money in Pokemon for 10 years, you'd be set. So that's just the point of why Nostalgia Bong Hits operates alone, why I don't open up a card shop, why I don't care if any of my stuff sells, and why I'm a very patient human being that doesn't really care. Even though you guys see me flip out and everything like that and have tantrums, they're all basically for the show. But I really want everyone to understand why working alone is extremely, extremely important. Because, like I said, you get with a chick, that relationship will drain your money and you are not reinvesting it back in the business. You're not reinvesting it back in yourself. It's just going out the door every day. So I really want to break that down, how important it is to, run things by yourself. It's your empire for a reason because it's ran by you. And sadly, there was a mistake my father made. He liked to work a lot. He was more of a hard worker than a smart worker. He was still a smart man, but he just worked very hard. And he didn't believe in himself to invest. He would have people invest for him, and that's just not the way to do it. And I'm not saying working hard is bad, because you have to work hard to get to the point to get money. But you have to invest, because just hard work does not do it, especially in today's age. It just doesn't. So, I really want to break that down of just like, you have to fucking work by yourself. Believe in your own thoughts and your own beliefs and investments. Watch and learn and take away as much information as you can from other successful people that will help you tremendously. And not just I bought Rolex's guy. Like, no, not that guy. I'm talking people that are consecutively making good returns every year, like me. Nostalgia, as much as I hate to say it, Nostalgianomics, Pokemon Joy, like you can see they're all doing well. And, other real estate agents. I used to watch other real estate agents and watch how they move, and realtors and watch how they move. You have to constantly be aware of how all of the successful people are moving, what they're buying, what they're selling, and be on top of the market constantly. Almost every day, so you're prepared. You've seen everything. You've been around the block enough to understand how the market trends work and how this and that works. But the most important thing, like I said, is remaining to be a lone wolf by yourself. And do not buy shit you don't need. And I know you guys hear this enough of don't buy shit you don't need. But that couldn't be more far from the truth, because who the fuck wants to buy a $20,000 Rolex when you could literally dump $20,000 into Chilean Rain? You're going to be up like fucking tremendously compared to that. You have to invest and not waste your money on stupid shit you don't need. Like, the list goes on. Expensive cars, expensive houses, expensive anything that will drain you, expensive women. It's all together a waste of time and a waste of money. And you have to move your money around properly and not let it just fall apart, Like, let's say you got a good gain on a box, like Evolving. Let's say you bought it at like $600. It's not $2,000. Let's say you sold it for $2,000. That $2,000, you can't let it just like leach off into like, oh well, let's go out and have a good time. Let's go do this or that. All of a sudden, that $2,000's gone. that you would have to like reinvest in other things that you think will do better, or stay in that if you believe in it. So just a lesson on this channel of why I've always worked alone and why I will always continue to work alone. And, I just felt it was something I should make a video on for today's night talk, of why working alone is extremely important, and to not buy stupid shit you don't need. Like seeing like fucking $1,000,000 emerald watches. Like, fuck that shit. Yeah, they look cool, but wouldn't you rather have $1,000,000 to invest? And also, if you do have something that is worth big money, like let's say I don't know, like let's say you own the OJ Simpson Bronco. I seen the guy in Pawn Stars. He turned down like a $500,000 offer or $750,000 offer, even because he was hoping to get $1 million. You are better off having that $750K than any fucking nice car with a story or whatever. You're better off having that capital to be able to invest it in other things than a fucking stupid ass vehicle. You have to avoid the vehicle trap. The vehicle trap kills most car investors before they even get started, before they even really get cooking. Because the first thing people do when they make 50K or 100K, they're like, I want to go get a Corvette. I want to go get this car. I want to go get that car. No, you should be driving a piece of fucking shit and keeping your money in the business and not buying a nice car, not buying a nice house until you really can afford it. Not taking out loans, not buying jewelry, not getting married, not doing any of that stupid shit. You have to live like you are literally fucking poor until you are not. And until you are to the point of $1 million at least, or at least 500K, you have to live like you are literally fucking broke and invest every single penny you can into either crypto or Pokemon and wait for your gains. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. I just really wanted to dive into that because I'd seen a few videos about like stupid ass people like selling watches now, since that's the big thing. And it's just like, that is not the right hustle. Like, and it's funny because the world just like has it backwards of like, oh yeah, you need watches, like Pokemon's for stupid people, and Magic the Gathering's for stupid people. It's just like, no, it's the complete opposite. All that other shit goes down in value, and it's absolutely pointless. Jewelry's pointless. Watches are pointless. All that shit is fucking pointless. And it's not going to get you rich anytime soon. So take this advice, hold it to heart. It will help you tremendously in your investing journey, no matter what you decide to do. Do not buy shit you do not need. Every fucking wealth person will tell you this, but don't buy shit you don't need. And invest, and work by yourself. Anyway, that's all we have for tonight's night talk. I hope you guys have learned something from this, and we're out.